347-941. 347-326-9741. I am Brian the Butcher Brown. And, of course, as always, Michael Delicious Dolan. What's up, feller?
Guess who's back in the motherfucking house with a big red dick for your motherfucking mouth?
Yeah. And our other cohort, Nick Frank. What's up, buddy?
What's up, boyos? How we doing tonight?
Hanging in, still waiting for a nice card to come our way. Still, we don't have much going on in MMA.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the shakes here. About 6 solid weeks of no event here. I was much nice things as I say about Bellator, just ain't cutting it.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Frank's just gonna have to talk to that fiance of his soon. He ain't happy. Have to sit through a whole meal without ruining it for everybody.
It's been a dry month, man. Dry month. You can only, like you said, dude, Bellator doesn't really fill the need. I mean, the Open Fighter's on, but I don't know. It's just the beginning of the show. It's pretty good so far, but it's just not doing it for me. I need a big card. I need a big card to cheer me up.
How's everybody's brackets doing? Everybody get busted this weekend or what?
Brackets. I didn't even fill one out. I could really give a hot fuck. What about you, Franco?
Oh, my God, what a loser. I filled 2 out, and one of them is just pitiful. I had Missouri winning the national championship, so that was done immediately in the first round.
How'd that work out?
Not too good. And then my other bracket, I have a work bracket that's for a lot less money. I'm actually doing pretty good, and I'm I think I'm 4th or 5th out of 25 people. I'm right in the mix there. I got Michigan State winning the whole thing, so not too bad. I got a shot in that one bracket. How about you, Dole? You filling any brackets out?
I got Duke winning the whole thing, so I feel pretty good. I know better than to pick my Dukies because they live and die with the 3. I was great on Thursday. I only got one wrong. Granted, it was an Elite 8 team I had in UNLV, and then Friday I had fucking Missouri in the Final Four, and I had Duke in the Elite 8. So that didn't go too well. I went from being in first after Thursday to middle of the pack after that. But it is what it is, man. Games were awesome. That Purdue-Kansas game last night was sick. Purdue basically gave that game away. I mean, I wouldn't take anything away from Kansas. They played well to come back, but Purdue was handling that. That pissed me off, too, because Kansas isn't a good tournament team normally, and I had Purdue in the Elite 8 as well. So I just got completely blown up and destroyed. I mean, I took it light this year. I only filled out 37 brackets, so, I should be able to pay rent soon.
Dolo, are you getting in that softball league that Rocco's throwing down?
Oh, you best believe, dude.
Nice.
Fit to pull a hammy real quick.
He was texting me about that today. Who else is in that thing? Do you know?
I don't know, man. I asked him, and it was 3 o'clock, so he'd probably been at the bar for 2.5 hours at that point, so I wasn't expecting, any text messages to come back remotely legible. But, I don't know, man. I'll get the details. It seems like he's got a decent number. Should be good, man. It's going to be a little Sunday morning to get out there and embarrass ourselves. As Franco and I are both these former varsity athletes over at the powerhouse that is modern-day preparatory academy. And, certainly not holding up to snuff, with the athletic ability anymore. So it should be good, man. It should be pitiful.
Doug, did you play any sports in high school, you creeps?
I only played football my freshman year, and then, I really got I had to spend all my time pursuing my other habits after that. So, I got thrown off the football team.
Didn't you letter in cocaine? One of your
pretty
four-year
much.
lettermen?
Cocaine, some weed, LSD, and then I started really hitting the heavy stuff by about junior year. So, I have a handful, Franco. I have a handful. I couldn't go back to the football team.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know if Sicardo really would have taken too kindly you tripping balls during double sessions.
No. Well, they threw me out of Modern Day at the end of the year. So as soon as I went to North, I was like, this place is a fucking fun house. So sports weren't on my mind after that. I could just do whatever I wanted.
Beautiful.
Because they run such a tight ship over at Modern Day. You really couldn't do what you wanted over there. It's hard. JT used to walk around with a Poland Spring full of vodka. Kid's stinking by second period. Just slurring his words in literature.
Well, you got to do something to relax. You could just be sitting there and trying to learn, No,
it's completely. No. If we're not going to learn, we're going to ruin it for everybody.
So back to the Ultimate Fighter. Did you guys? I know, Mike, over the weekend you hadn't watched it. You were going to watch it. Dubs, did you watch last week's episode?
Yes, I did. I will be watching every Friday. It's live, sir. It's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, do you? I think Dominic Cruz is he's got the fucking personality of a doormat. I mean,
yeah.
It was sort of an odd choice to make him a coach because he really is just like a jock idiot. He's got no personality whatsoever. Why do you think why would they put him on television?
Well, obviously just the rivalry with him and Faber. They're hoping something comes of it. But like I said last week and the week before, he just doesn't talk with any passion whatsoever. I mean, I really do believe the guy has, ill will towards Uriah. I don't think he likes him, but he just delivers everything with, whatever, dude. Like when Uriah was questioning him about talking shit in that magazine and putting words in his father's mouth, he was just like, all right, dude. Well, I'm sorry. At least to your father, but, I'm not sorry to you because I'll say whatever I want to say about you because we're fighting. But there was no, any aggression behind it when he said it, It just doesn't make any sense to me. This is what I was worried about.
Yeah, and I have a feeling he's a game fighter and he's really top-level fighter, but, I mean, Faber's going to come out of this looking like peaches because he's a more articulate guy. He's a more likable guy. Probably a better coach. So I think if nothing else, more people are going to come out of this season rooting for Faber in that rematch than maybe would have been previously. But I don't think Dominic Cruz is a bad guy. He's just boring as shit. And Faber's just kind of the man. He's just super cool.
Yeah, he definitely does.
I saw a crush coming on, dude.
No, he is. He's just a cool guy. He's just one of those guys that you want to hang out with.
Plus, he's more of a coach, to your point, Nick. I mean, he's been a coach for quite some time. He's been the head of team Alpha Male for a while, and he's had quite a few guys under his tutelage and his wing. So I think he is more geared towards this show. So when you couple his natural coaching ability and experience with him having a better personality, not that he needs to gain fans. I think he's definitely a fan favorite with either gender. But, I think he'll come out with a lot more fans and if his guys perform better. But, we've seen a lot before. It's not always about the head coach on these shows. They're the front, and they're supposed to be the face of the team. It's about the crew they have around them. Normally they bring about 3 guys. So, maybe Dominic can make up for his lack of coaching ability with the guys that, he surrounded himself with to help those other fighters out. But, we'll see. It is early. But, you can't inject personality in someone. We've seen that with Nick. We try to do it every week, and we just wind up carrying this stack of shit. But I think the UFC missed a huge opportunity. Not that they knew it, but think about what this show would have done if it was Rashad and John Jones. I don't think they could have had the foresight to be the coaches, because Jones, was on the shelf for a little bit, which they thought was going to be a while, but he wound up coming back sooner than later, and you didn't know what was going to happen with Rashad and Phil Davis, but. Rashad's shown that he can carry a show as a coach with the heated rivalry like he had with Rampage. If they had these 2 guys who both have a personality, I think it would have just been probably the highest rated show in history, and it would have been cool to see if Jones could keep on this fucking facade for the entire time of being this Mr. Perfect and having all the right answers, and maybe we would have seen that he was real and this is just how he is, or we would have seen that it's purely manufactured and fabricated. I think that would have been amazing. But, I
think it would have been amazing too, Dolo. But Jones is definitely very careful with what he chooses to say. There's a couple interviews out there where they actually have Rashad and him sitting there in the same room together, and Rashad really just talks him down, and he really has no comeback. So I don't know. Maybe he would snap eventually if they were coaches together, and we'd see something. Or it would kind of just be like Dominic Cruz, except 6'6" and a black dude, because John Jones just he chooses words very carefully, and then anytime Rashad calls him out on it, he really doesn't even go after him with any passionate argument back at him. He's just kind of like, well, you can believe what you want to believe, So it's really like the big brother picking on the little brother. So I don't know how entertaining it would be. Rashad would have been funny, but I don't know if John Jones would be able to carry the show.
Yeah, and we've seen it in the past. You're right that Rashad can do it. We don't know with Jones, and that's what cracks me up. It's a great point. We've had a couple of these press conferences when they announced the fight, and they've had a couple other situations when Rashad and John Jones have been in the same room. Rashad has a natural charisma, and he's certainly somebody who's witty and can go on the fly. John Jones really only seems to talk his shit when it's an interview that he knows is coming. When it's a manufactured interview, something he can prepare for. He gave an interview to UFC.com just the other day, and obviously Rashad was the topic of conversation, and he had tons to say, where we've seen him be a little quiet in the past, in the one-on-ones, but in this interview, he really came out and had a lot to say about Rashad for a change. He said that he feels jealousy is what is fueling Rashad, that Rashad just can't stand the meteoric rise of a one Johnny Bones Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like that's going to be, the demise of Rashad here, that he may put himself in a bad situation. He just feels like everything is in his corner. He feels like, he admitted in the interview that Rashad was able just to hold them down in the past when they were training. He said, I'm not the same guy that Rashad was able to hold down. He went away from that pretty quick, but I thought that was an interesting admission, whether he meant to or it was subconscious. But, he said he's not the same fighter that Rashad was able to hold down in training, and he feels like Rashad's going to get in the octagon and just really see how much John Jones has grown and how versatile of a striker he is. And he feels like he's at a different level, and Rashad's going to get in there and realize that he's bitten off a little more than he can chew. He also feels like he's fighting for Team Jackson. He referenced that, he feels like he has the whole camp on his back because obviously Rashad Evans was one of the initial members of Team Jackson and felt a little slighted when all this went down between him and John Jones. And he'd referenced that Greg Jackson asked him when Jones came to train if it was okay. He said no, but then took him under his wing. And he just feels like all the odds are in his favor, and he feels like he's going to go in and he's going to really just beat down Rashad Evans. And he said at the end of the day, he hopes that there's a shared respect when it's over. He said whether you like somebody or not, when you go to battle and you go to war with someone, there always seems to be a shared respect for the other person. And he said he hopes one day that can work out. I mean, do you think this guy's just smelling his own farts, or do you think there's validity to what he's really saying here?
Well, I do believe he believes it to a certain extent. He might be smelling his farts a little bit, but like I said, he seems to clam up. He says these things when he's being interviewed one-on-one, or, like I've heard him on a couple of different radio shows when it's just him in the studio, with a few guys, and he's got a lot to say. But, anytime Rashad's there, he's never backed down from the fact saying, yeah, when we get in the cage, I'm going to beat you down. But he doesn't really look at Rashad that much. Like, he won't make eye contact. And, anytime Rashad's just like, yeah, we'll see, and I'm in your head, and I know who you really are, like, Jones really kind of seems to get a little tongue-tied. So, it could be all bravado. He could truly believe it. I'm not really sure. I'm starting to think from watching some of these interviews that Rashad has more of a chance than I originally gave him. I mean, I'm really liking Rashad's chances just because of what he's proven in the past and how he's overcome a lot of things. I used to pick against Rashad a lot, and he's proven me wrong every time. So, he does seem to have a mental edge in this one. And, Jones definitely, I'm starting to agree with Franco more and more. I'm starting to think he's just a real pompous dude. And, eventually that's going to go, when it goes to his head, that's going to be his downfall.
Yeah, and Rashad even said it. He said that, you feel like you're invincible, and everybody at some point thought they were invincible. Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Chuck Liddell, and they all lost, and you're going to lose just like the rest of them. And all that is true, and I think there is something to be said about this mental edge that Rashad has, sort of the upper hand that he does have over John Jones. And he has the physical tools, I believe, to give Jones problems. The one thing that he doesn't have that will probably be his demise in this fight is a solid chin. Because you saw it against Machida, where Machida controlled that first round, and then, John Jones just landed one good strike, and the entire complexion of the fight changed. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that Rashad's going to go out there and fight a really good fight and just get clipped with something, and then from there either going to get finished or, the fight's just going to go in Jones' favor, because I just don't, I don't trust Rashad's chin, taking a big shot.
Yeah, I that's what I'm worried about too. I mean, if somehow he can avoid the big shot, like, he avoided it with Rampage, but Rampage, isn't the level of wrestler that
we almost got him late though.
Is.
Third round Rampage rocked him.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to bring up, because obviously he was working Rampage over and holding him down, and then, you know, even though Rampage was tired, he got one good shot in, and it almost changed the fight. Same thing with Thiago Silva. So that is Rashad's Achilles heel, so that's always going to be a problem, no matter who he fights, but especially a guy like Jones, who just seems to finish dudes pretty easily. You know, Jones can finish this fight at any moment. Rashad's got to fight the perfect fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's what worries me with all the Rashad fights in general. And you guys have hit the nail on the head and referenced the relevant fights. We saw it with Rampage. We saw it with Thiago Silva. Obviously, Machida wound up catching him. And I even found myself worried in the Phil Davis fight. Not because I thought Davis, you know, has the one-punch, precision. I think he has the power. He's just a huge 205er. But I didn't think he had the precision to put Rashad out. But I'm just constantly worried in a Rashad fight that he's going to get caught, because the guy has shown a propensity to just absolutely formulate great game plans, even post Greg Jackson era, and really execute. And it's a double-edged sword for Rashad here, because, you know, unless we find out that Jones does have a porcelain chin and Rashad with his speed, is able to put him out, the way Rashad's going to win this fight is by really just taking it to the cards, and I think just ducking under the reach, getting in close, and maybe landing a few combos and then taking it to the ground. Rashad has shown a great top game that most wrestlers have, but, you know, most of the time Rashad in the past had that knack or the knock, I should say, that he didn't go to finish guys. And when we saw when he had Tito hurt, and even when he had, you know, Davis at some points, I thought he was landing good strikes from the top. So it'll be advantageous for him if he gets Jones down, because wrestlers have a strong, you know, top game always, and they're not good on their back. So Jones being a wrestler, that could be a tough spot for him. Obviously, he needs to be wary of the long limbs and the dreaded third leg of John Jones. But, you know, he could get caught in a triangle. You know, really anything can happen. I would love to see Rashad win this fight. I'm really hoping it goes down that way. The more time that goes on, you know, the more geeked up I get for it. But, I mean, it just has the intensity now. I feel like this fight's a week away. So that's what's crazy about it. These guys are both ready to go, and I think, you know, Jones does have Rashad in the back of his head a little bit, but I do think that he is just at a place right now where he just absolutely walks through everyone. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Some of the fighters in the UFC were surveyed on how they think the fight's going to go. And for those of you that don't know, John Jones is a 6-1 favorite right now on over Rashad Evans, which I think is insane. And a lot of, you know, fan feelings and intuition kind of moves the line, because if people think that this is, you know, just going to be an easy fight, and they like John Jones, they'll probably bet on him. I mean, this is rivaling the George St. Pierre days when he was killing people, you know, before Serra took him out. I think he was something as ridiculous as, like, I don't know, like -9 and change St. Pierre was over Serra. And, I mean, Jones is getting to that level. So for the fact that he's 6-1 over the guy who I think has the best chance to beat him for just a familiarity with his game, plus I think the tools to beat him, it'll be interesting. But all the fighters shared the same sentiment. They think Jones should be a favorite, but they all disagreed with the 6-1. They all kind of laughed it off, because they say a guy of Rashad's talents and strength, for him to be a 6-1 underdog to anyone is ridiculous. So the only guy who thought it was legit and thought it should maybe be higher is Mike Pierce. He said that he thinks that Jones is just going to absolutely kill Rashad, and he thinks that the line should be even bigger. But I think, you know, a lot of other people really feel that this is going to be a close fight. And actually, a lot of the fighters feel like if anybody can beat Jones, it's going to be Rashad. But well, what do you guys think? I mean, obviously 6-1 is a ridiculous line. I don't think anyone is in agreement with that on this phone. And maybe maybe you can disagree. But Nick, what do you think should be a realistic line in this fight if you were Vegas and you were setting?
I don't know, man. I think the line's not bad. I mean, you got Jones being 6-1 means he's -600, so Rashad's probably plus like 400.
Yeah, about plus 4.
Yeah. So I mean, in reality, really, it's about 5-1. So you know, you get a 6-1 favorite and a 4-1 dog. I usually average the numbers out, so I'd say about 5-1. I mean, so that means if they fight 6 times, Jones wins 5 and Rashad wins 1. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not absurd to me to think that way. Maybe a little bit lower, but I think Jones is the favorite because he should be. As much as I hate him, what he's done to Shogun and Machida and to Rampage and Bader over the last year, I mean, the guy's a beast. He literally has not been in any danger in any of his fights. I do give Rashad a legitimate chance to beat him. But, I think the line's a little bit high, but, I wouldn't bet John Jones at a 6-1. If I was going to bet the fight, I would definitely bet Rashad, even taking away my rooting interest. I still think mathematically it makes more sense to bet Rashad. But, I mean, I don't think the line's out of the stratosphere. I think it's probably a little high, but it's close.
Yeah,
I
the
agree.
reward is not there with that fight. So, Dubs, what do you go to Nick's point, where he says if they fight, obviously he's just playing the numbers. If they fight 6 times, do you think that it's going to go 5-1 Jones?
On paper, I definitely think I have to agree, just because when you look at his body of work, just his whole career, but especially over the last year, I mean, to dismantle a guy like Shogun Rua on short notice, and I mean, Shogun in his heyday was what John Jones is now. Over in Pride, Shogun was, a phenom. He was just ripping dudes apart. He was the most dynamic striker out there. He was aggressive. He was finishing dudes pretty easily. And then the guy comes over here, has a little bit of a tough run, and then it looks like he's finally got back to form. In the first fight against Machida, a lot of people felt he beat him, and then the second fight, he knocked Machida out and did take the title. Everybody thought, this is the Shogun we've been waiting for. And then John Jones just comes in and literally walks through him. I mean, beat him up. If you remember the end of that fight, I mean, it was called a TKO, but he was beaten so badly on the way down, Shogun started tapping. That's how bad John Jones beat him up. So I think on paper, I have to agree with Franco. If they fight 6 times, Jones is going to win 5. But, like we were discussing earlier, it does seem like Rashad has the mental edge here. And sometimes a mental edge can really, screw with a person's game plan. Rashad is definitely the big brother figure. Jones has admitted it earlier on when he first went to Greg Jackson's that Rashad did get the better of him, in training, but that he does a 360 and he'll say, he only held me down the days that I was, hurting from, the days before that I went really hard or I was under the weather. So, he has admitted it and then tried to take it back. So he definitely seems affected by Rashad. So I give Rashad a definite chance in this fight, but he does deserve to be an underdog. 6-1 is a little high, but I can see where they're getting the number just from the body of work. I mean, to destroy Shogun like that, he handled Rampage easily. He probably could have finished him at any moment in that fight. He was just respecting his hands. And Machida, as you guys know, I felt was probably the best chance to take that title from Jones. And it looked like in the first round he was confusing the hell out of Jones. And, of course, John Jones just figured him out and walked through him and choked him out. And basically he left him in a heap in the octagon. So I don't think it's too 100% ridiculous, but, it's a little high, but I definitely think, especially with Rashad's chin, it's questionable if he can beat John Jones.
Yeah, it's not a winning combination or proposition for Rashad on paper. I think you couldn't describe it better, and if you wanted a person who hadn't really watched MMA before to look at John Jones and say this is who John Jones is, obviously the Shogun fight is the best John Jones we've seen. Made in my opinion, one of the best performances we've ever seen, having just fought 6 weeks earlier. And I mean, he probably knew in the back of his mind that he was going to get the shot because he knew more than anyone else did that Rashad wasn't going to fight. He knew that Rashad was hurt and it wasn't going to happen. Shogun didn't have a ton of time to prepare for him. But, I mean, Shogun looked really good in the Machida fight the first time and arguably won that fight and then knocked Machida out the first. So, I mean, he absolutely dismantled Machida, and there's no two ways about it. But for me, in this interview with UFC.com, Jones subconsciously, in my opinion, did admit or intimate that Rashad was able to hold him down at certain points when they were training. And I think it goes both ways. That was early on in John Jones' training, and he was purely a wrestler at that point, and probably being on his back, he wasn't used to it. And you see an early John Jones fight, like his first fight in the UFC, his striking was elementary at best. And then, 2 fights later, this dude was throwing spinning back elbows and just unbelievable different, styles of kicks from angles. So I think he's grown leaps and bounds. But the fact that I don't think he's comfortable in his own skin with Rashad. I think he's very manufactured. I think he does know who he is, but I think he wants to be what everyone's propping him up to be and live up to it. But the fact that he won't just come out and say, shit, yeah, the dude held me down. He had been, an elite-level wrestler at Michigan State. I was a good wrestler, but this guy had been training MMA and had wrestling-style MMA for about 5 years before I even got out of college. So why wouldn't he hold me down? And those experiences made me grow as a fighter. The fact that he's not comfortable even saying that, like he can't even admit it, it just reminds me of the brother, myself, basically being the prototype of the brother. When you play Nintendo in the 80s and you start to lose the game and you're about to lose, and then you just kick the button or hit the machine and fucking sprint out of the room as you get a quick head start as your brother's chasing you down to beat the balls off you. I just feel like he can't even admit it. He can't even admit that Rashad actually held him down and there was a reason for it. It's a legit excuse, dude. You haven't really trained MMA that much. This guy was an elite level 205er at the time and won the heavyweight Ultimate Fighter in season 2. It's okay that you were held down. I just feel like he has this need to be perfect, and that he can't even admit that he's almost like he's not human. So if anything, that's going to be Rashad's angle, that Rashad keeps beating him down in the mental game and reminding him of what he used to do to him. And Jones is playing into his hands because he won't say, of course you should have done that to me. You were so much further ahead to your training at that point.
Well, I guess he just doesn't want to, visualize that anymore. He wants to visualize himself as being dominant and not giving Rashad a chance to, he feels that if he admits that, then Rashad has won the mental game, and it doesn't sink in the fact that Rashad is schooling him every single step of the way whenever they lock, are locked in the interview talking together, that Rashad just really kind of makes him look like a fool. So, I definitely think Rashad's got that over him. The mental game is going to be key, but all it takes is one right hand or a kick or an elbow, and Rashad's going to go to sleep. So, kind of like, if you and I, Dolan, were to lock up sort of like in a game of wits, I would just kind of hold you down and make you eat it. What do you got to say to that?
I would say the only way that would happen is if, to start the game, I got on all fours and started presenting, giving you my pucker and a-hole. That's the only way you're getting in there, my man. Are you sure you don't want any lotion? It's quite lovely. It's quite nice. I can't offer you any lotion. You sure?
I would love to be able to test their wits like that, but I don't know if we would have any way to do that. And, Nick, do you have any ideas? How can I teach Dolo a lesson here? Rashad Evans to John Jones.
You boys are in luck. We're going to roll out a new little segment here tonight. I was at work today pretending to do something, and like we said, we haven't really don't have any events, and we had another 2 hours to fill. So I figured since, as you both know, I am the 3-time defending fantasy MMA champion. So I figured let me put a little something together for the peanut gallery, and I'm going to give Delicious and the Butcher a little space underneath the limelight, and we're going to do a little MMA trivia game. It's going to be the Butcher versus Delicious, and I'm going to just sort of explain the rules pretty quickly. You guys kind of know. I want to explain to the people that are going to be listening. It's very simple. It's somewhat for people that listen to the Howard Stern show when they did Win Fred's Money. Basically, I'm going to have one of the guys on the phone per time. I'm going to ask them 10 MMA trivia questions, and I'm going to be marking them down whether they're correct or incorrect. The other guy's going to be on hold. He's not going to be hearing what's going on in the room. Then I'm going to bring the other guy back, and then the first guy's going to go on hold, and I'm going to ask the other guy the 10 questions. So, in essence, there's 3 rounds. There's 10 questions per round. I'm going to ask each guy 10 questions at a time while the other guy can't hear. The first guy to win 2 rounds is the winner, and after each round, we'll all get on the phone together and we'll go over the answers, and I'll tell you who won each round. Very simple. The questions, I made them myself. I took a few off a couple of websites, but for the most part, these are my questions.
Wow.
So basically, which one of you two jabrones wants to go first?
Well,
let this brief go first.
Yeah, I would like to go first, but, this is definitely a surprise to me. I didn't know this was going to go on. And I definitely would like to go first to prove my MMA knowledge over Dola. But before we start, I just want a couple opinions. How do you want me to start this one off, Franco, with a little bit of this? Or how about this?
I like the second one.
I like the second one too. That was it.
Definitely
All
the
right
second
then.
one.
Well, you know
So,
what? I mean, in the spirit of the game, go with the first one, dickbag.
And one other thing I wanted to, if there's the first, like I said, each round is 10 questions. If there happens to be a tie, if both guys get 7 questions correct, I'm going to be keeping a timer on my other phone. So if there's a tie, as far as correct answers, we're going to the timesheet. So whoever answered in a quicker fashion would be the winner. And as we're going here, Dubs, like I'm going to ask you first, you can pass, and I'll go back to the questions at the end. So basically, you can take as much or as little time as you want, but, time, if there's a tie, it comes down to time. So if you pass and we go back to it and you don't know it, just tell me, you don't want to go back to it and you're done, and I'll stop the timer.
All right, I'm going to throw this creep on hold. What's up, Dolan?
I love the spirit that Nick Frank and the esteem he holds us in, Dub, saying, we'll probably tie at 7 out of 10. If you're going to base it off of our ability or lack thereof, if I were to give a 4 class for this, I would say 2 retards trying to fuck a doorknob is probably the way this is going to go. But I'd say, consistency is everything in life, man. I want the sound-killing headphones like Gary Dell'Abate got on this bull.
Hey, Dolan, just make sure you're, put the phone down and make sure you're looking at Facebook, and I'll IM you when you can come back on. And for the people that are listening in the chat room, Bill Brown, Scott from Modesto, just do me a favor, just refrain from typing the answers to the questions in until both guys have gone. The guys really aren't going to be looking at the chat room during this anyway, but I want it to be as fair as possible. And, like Dolan always said, I'm looking for the tallest midget here, so let's not give him any help.
Bill Brown won, $2 an answer. Bring it. Screw your brother, dude.
All right, Dolo, I'm going to, and then once we come back, Dubs, I'm putting you on hold. Dolo, go on hold now. I'll IM you when you come back, and Dubs will be using his poker face. He can't give away how many he gets right.
Absolutely. All right. You're on hold now, Dolo, and let's get the shindig started. Let's test our everyone knowledge with the old Nick Frank. And here he is, your host from Port Mullins, New Jersey, Nick Frank.
Welcome to MMA Trivia. All right, Dubs, we're going to get going. And as soon as I start reading the first question, we're going to go. Like I said, if you want me to pass, go back, but they're pretty easy. They're pretty straightforward. So are you ready?
I am ready, sir. If I answer, that's it. I'm out, right? So just smart things to pass if I'm not sure, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then anything that you pass, I'll go back to at the end, and you can just tell me stop the time when you're done.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. How tall is former UFC middleweight contender Kendall Grove?
I'm going to say Kendall Grove is 6'6".
Number 2, during their 2009 Strikeforce bout, Nick Diaz and Frank Shamrock both weighed in at this weight, 1 pound over their agreed-upon catch weight.
I'm going to say 181.
Number 3, what does the BJ in UFC legend BJ Penn's name stand for?
I would like to say one thing, but I'm going to say Baby J instead.
Number 4, name 6 of the 7 fighters from The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 who are still under contract, under UFC contract.
6 of the 7?
Yeah, so there's 7 fighters from The Ultimate Fighter 1 who are still in the UFC. Name 6 of them.
Josh Koscheck, Diego Sanchez, Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner, Chris Lieben, my boy. I want to say
That's
Mike
5.
Swick.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't have said yes, but okay. Number 5. Who was the first ever African-American fighter to win a title in the UFC?
though. Fuck, I can't think of his name. Oh, Jesus, I'm wasting time. I gotta pass.
Okay. Number 6, what was the title of the documentary film about Matt Hamill, the hearing-impaired UFC veteran?
I'll pass.
Number 7, name 3 of the 4 NFL veterans who competed alongside Kimbo Slice in The Ultimate Fighter Season 10.
Brendan Schaub, Matt Mitrione, and Big Baby, what was his freaking name? Shit. Pass.
Okay, number 8, Frank Shamrock and Bas Rutten met 3 times during their career, with one fighter winning 2 bouts. Which fighter won twice?
I think it's Frank Shamrock. I know Ken beat Bats each time, but I know I already answered. I already said twice. Never mind. I can't keep.
Well, I don't know. What's your answer?
I said twice for Frank Shamrock.
All right, Frank Shamrock's your answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9. How old was Randy Couture when he came out of retirement to defeat Tim Sylvia and become the UFC heavyweight champion?
43.
And number 10. Out of UFC legend Matt Hughes' 45 wins, does he have the most wins via TKO, submission, or decision?
I think I'm going to say decision.
Okay, so we're going to go back to a few now. Number 5 was, who was the first ever African-American to win a title in the UFC?
Kevin Randleman.
Okay, number 6. What was the documentary film? What was the name of Matt Hamill's documentary film?
Oh, God. I'm going to have to give it a pass. It's not coming to me. I'm going to have to just forget that question.
Okay, and then name 3 of the 4 NFL veterans who were in the Ultimate Fighter 10. You already gave me Mitrione and Schaub.
Yeah, and I'm still can't. That other guy's name won't pop into my head. I think I'm gonna screw the pooch on this one too. I can't think of Big Baby's name, so I'm gonna have to pass and take the time. I don't want the time to go too far.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell you how many you got right.
Okay.
I'll mark the time down. So basically, I'm gonna IM Dolan, and I'm gonna have him come back on, and then you can go on hold, and then I'll IM you when it's your turn to come back.
Okay, sir. I'm gonna go on hold now. I'm gonna switch Dolan back on. All right.
Okay.
Yo.
Dola.
Yo, what's up, dude? Just got your come back. You spelled it wrong, dude. It's spelled C-U-M.
All right, Mr. Dubs just went. He doesn't even know how many he got right. He doesn't know his time. He just answered the questions. I put him on hold. I'm going to ask you the same questions, and then I'm going to get all 3 of us back together, and we're going to go over the results for round 1. All right, so basically, as I'm going here, man, if you don't know the answer, you can pass, and we'll come back to it at the end. After I get through all 10 questions, I'm going to go back to the answers that you passed on, and you can either tell me, pass again, I don't know the answer to it, or you can try to answer it, and then you can sort of tell me when you're done.
Hey.
All right, hold on one second.
How do you do, for real? Come on, lay it on me.
I can't tell you. That's the whole fun of the game. Are you ready?
Born.
Okay, I'm starting right now. How tall is former UFC middleweight contender Kendall Grove?
Kendall Grove. 6'6".
Number 2, during their 2009 Strikeforce bout, Nick Diaz and Frank Shamrock both weighed in at this weight, 1 pound over their agreed-upon catch weight.
There's a catch weight fight. 170. 181.
Okay, number 3. What does the BJ in UFC legend BJ's name stand for?
Oh, Baby J.
Okay, number 4. Name 6 of the 7 fighters from The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 who are still under UFC contracts.
Still under. Diego Sanchez, Forrest Griffin, Josh Koscheck, Mike Swick, and Lieben, that drug ass.
Yeah, that's 5. Just 2 more. You got to name one of them.
Pass.
Okay, number 5. Who was the first ever African-American fighter to win a title in the UFC?
First. Kevin Randleman.
Okay, number 6. What was the title of the documentary film about Matt Hamill?
I just saw that shit in Best Buy. The Hammer.
Number 7. Name 3 of the 4 NFL veterans who competed alongside Kimbo Slice in The Ultimate Fighter Season 10.
Crenshaw, Matt Mitrione. That big pussy's name. Pass. I don't have it right now.
Number 8. Frank Shamrock and Bas Rutten met 3 times during their careers, with one fighter winning 2 bouts. Which fighter won twice?
Bas Rutten.
Number 9. How old was Randy Couture when he came out of retirement to defeat Tim Sylvia and become the UFC heavyweight champion?
43. That
Number
or 42,
10.
but I'm going to go 43.
Okay. Out of UFC legend Matt Hughes' 45 wins, does he have the most wins via TKO, submission, or decision?
Decision?
Okay, I'm going to go back now. Number 4 is name 6 of the 7 fighters. You gave me 5 of them. I need one more.
Diego Forrest, Koscheck, Zwick, Lee, and Kenny Florian.
Yes. Oh, well, I should have said yes, but whatever. Now, number 7 was name 3 of the 4 NFL veterans who competed alongside Kimbo Slice. You gave me Shaw and Mitrione.
Yeah, I know it's Big Baby. I don't know his name, dude. Fuck it.
So you're done?
I don't know.
Okay.
Rather stop the clock.
Okay, let me just IM Dubs. I'll bring his ass back here. And then I will go over the results of you two mongoloids.
Good. The Hammer.
You back, Dubs?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, who's feeling confident out of you two? I mean, do you both think that you won? Do one of you feel like you lost? How are we both feeling?
I'm feeling really good. I just disappointed because of the NFL dudes that you're talking about. Because of course, as soon as I went on hold, I remembered the dude's name that I was thinking of, and I tanked it on the Hamill question.
Okay, well, let me say this: we had 10 questions. One of you guys got 4 correct, and one of you guys got 6 correct. And the winner of round 1 is the delicious one himself, Michael Dolan.
Fuck! Are you fucking kidding me?
So let's go through. Number 1, you both got Ken LeGrove is 6'6". That's the correct answer. Number 2, that was the hardest question on there. The question was, what did they both weigh in at? It was 1 pound over their agreed-upon catch weight. The catch weight was actually 179. They both weighed in at 181. And the funny thing, they both weighed in at 180. And Dubs, you said 179, and Dolan, you said 181. So you were both within a pound, but neither of you got it right. Number 3, you both got right, Baby J. Number 4, you both got right. You had to name 6 of the fighters from the first season who are still with the UFC. Number 5, neither of you got. Number 5 was Maurice Smith.
Who did Dubs struggle with?
Oh, yeah.
Florian killed me. Like, I banged the first 5 out easy, and for some reason, I had Bobby Southworth in my head. I knew he wasn't under contract, and I had that pussy Nate Quarry, too.
Well, you guys, it surprised me, Dola. You got Swick, but you didn't get Stephen Bonner.
Oh, my God. I didn't put that asshole in there. I was reaching for Florian. I could have had Bonner. Bonner was a layup.
And, okay, so the first black champion was Maurice Smith. Neither of you got that. Number 6, Dolan got the Hammer. Dubs didn't get it.
It wouldn't come to me.
Number 7, you both knew who he was, but you didn't know his name. His name is Marcus Jones.
Came to me.
Number 8, Dolan got right. Dubs got wrong. It's Bas Rutten. Bas Rutten was 2-1 versus Frank Shamrock.
Yeah. I just looked up because I said Shamrock first, and then of course, being the honest person I am, Dolo, I kept the answer.
But that's why I was giving. You could change that shit. It's not like you just got
honesty, dude. Honesty got you down too.
Shit.
Number 9 was,
to be honest, on that one, just because I figured Frank Shamrock, after that went on to do more. Not that Rutten, wasn't a good fighter, but he stopped fighting. In my head, I was like, oh shit, you know what? That fight probably propelled Shamrock.
20-fight win streak, didn't he?
What happened?
I said Rutten finished with a 20-fight win streak. How's that not
No, I
doing
just mean as far as, like, everyone's concerned, who have you heard of more if you're a fan beyond those fights? Like, I don't even remember seeing them fight 3 times. Hey, dude, I don't need to hear your lip. If you knew something, you would be down 6-4, all right?
Okay. All right, good point.
Great. All right, so that was number 9 was about Randy Couture. You both got that right, 23 years old. And then the last one, neither of you got right. The last one, all right, Matt Hughes has got 45 wins. He's got the most wins by TKO, actually. He's got 18 wins by TKO. He's got 18 TKOs, 17 submissions, and 10 decisions.
Dude. I wasn't going to TKO. I can't even lie. I was between submission and decision.
Well,
I would have never said TKO.
One of you said decision, and the other one said submission. I knew that nobody was going to get that because when I saw that, I was like, I got to ask that question because I would never think TKO.
Oh, so
no, I would never think TKO
the game was
either.
rigged. I'm calling shenanigans.
All right, so it's 1-0, Mr. Dolan. It's the first one to win 2. It's the first one to win 2 rounds. So hopefully Dolan wins the next one, so we get a little bit of suspense for round 3. Even if Dolan wins round 2, we're doing round 3 anyway because I fucking wrote the questions.
Nice.
Dolan, do you want to go first or second? You won the first round, so you get the choice.
You know what? In the spirit of mixing it up and having it be fun, I'll go first. Just so I mix it up.
No,
you want to go first?
No, that's fine. I don't care. I just figured, I'd get it out of the way quick so I can go to the slaughter, but all right.
If you want to go first, dude, you can have it. I was trying to be nice.
Right. No, you go first, and, I'll just get off the phone.
You two sound like a fucking couple that just broke up. Who's going first?
I'm going first. Hey, Frank, I got a question for you, though. Now, I don't know if you built it this way. Probably not because, you're a lazy asshole. Case in point that you were doing this and you're supposed to be working. Are the questions, did you not rank them, but, are you doing the hardest questions first? Are they
no, not really. They're all,
harder?
I initially was doing that. I initially had multiple choice, and, I was, just basically taking questions from websites. Then I just decided to sort of write my own questions. They're all right about, in each set of 10 questions, there's, 1 or 2 hard ones. I thought that Nick Diaz, Frank Shamrock weight question was a hard one on there. So, there's a hard one mixed throughout, but they're all about that level. I actually, you got 6 right. I figured you guys would get, 6 to 7 out of 10.
Does anybody know, and this is probably just a question that can't be answered, but what was the logic with putting the weight at 179 for for Shamrock and Diaz as opposed to 180?
That was almost like a dickhead question for me to even ask, because who would ever get that? But I just asked.
You figure you get in the arena, right? You figure Diaz fights at 170, Shamrock's the bigger guy, probably 185. I really just kind of split the difference and didn't think they'd make Frankie Poo cut down to 175. But you know what? With that logic, I should have then not put it on 180 because that would have been more advantageous for Shamrock. But I don't think 179 would have been my guess. But I can say it was because there's no way to disprove it.
Dubs, are you still on the phone or are you on hold? All right, well, Dubs is actually on hold, so we're going to solo. I'm getting my questions and my stopwatch out right now. Tell me when you're ready. I'm going to start the clock and I'm going to start reading the questions.
Ready.
Okay, question number 1. Who did Nate Diaz defeat to become the Ultimate Fighter champion?
He beat Manny Gamburian.
Okay, number 2. What was Chuck Liddell's record over his last 6 career fights?
1-5.
Okay, number 3. How old was Mauricio Shogun when he became the Pride Grand Prix champion?
24.
Okay, number 4. What is Kenny Florian's record in title bouts in the UFC?
0-4.
Okay, number 5. Which UFC fighter graced the cover of Sports Illustrated in 2007 and was the first mixed martial artist ever to do so?
Roger Huerta, that sweet cat.
Number 6. Who are the only 2 fighters to wear UFC gold in 2 different weight classes?
Randy Couture, BJ Penn.
And number 7. Name the 3 main fights on the UFC 100 card that generated well over 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Lesnar Mir, Henderson Bisping, and St. Pierre Tygo Alves.
Referring to MMA as human cockfighting in 1998, what politician is credited with almost single-handedly getting the UFC banned during that time period?
I'm going to say it only because he was on our show, Randy Gordon.
Okay, number 9. In what year was the Ultimate Fighting Championship founded?
1993, and it's a pure guess.
Okay, number 10. Between the 5 weight classes, between lightweight and heavyweight, how many current belt holders does Strikeforce have? So between lightweight and heavyweight, how many people do they have actually holding belts in those 5 weight classes?
I'm going to say 2.
Okay, all right, I'm going to stop the clock because you didn't pass on any. Okay, I am Dubs. I'm going to bring that rat bastard back.
Go on, let me know. Did I do good? I feel like I did pretty well that round.
I can't let you know.
Can't you be
part of the game?
Dude?
Nope. I gotta wait. You have to go on hold. You're gonna have to be held in suspense and let Mr. Dubs go, and then we'll all reconvene afterwards.
Let's bring it, dude. I know the drugs killed that kid. Bring it.
He's coming back right now.
All right.
Meow.
A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
Dolo, go on hold, and I am you on Facebook when we're ready for you.
All right, man. Sounds good.
What do you think my chances
are,
Frank? Are they good?
I will not give any hints. Dolan was asking Prince as to how he did. He has no idea how he did. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to give you any hints, but it would be in your best interest to get every question I ask you correct, because that's the point of the game.
Oh, my God. So does that mean he went perfect?
I didn't say anything of the sort. I just said it would be in your best interest to answer the questions correctly. I thought that was fairly obvious.
All right,
Let me know when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll start asking the questions.
All right. I'm going to say I'm ready now.
Okay. I didn't hold on 1 second, actually.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't start the clock yet, so you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Who did Nate Diaz defeat to become the Ultimate Fighter champion?
Manny Giburian.
Okay. Number 2, what was Chuck Liddell's record over his last 6 career fights?
I want to say 1-5.
Okay. Number 3, how old was Mauricio Shogun Rua when he became the Pride Grand Prix champion?
I think he was... Oh, God. 22?
Number 4, what is Kenny Florian's record in title bouts in the UFC?
Oh, God. He's 0-3.
Number 5, which UFC fighter graced the cover of Sports Illustrated in 2007 and was the first MMA fighter to do so?
First MMA fighter to...
He's on Sports Illustrated cover.
On the Sports Illustrated cover. I'm going to say 2007?
Yeah.
God. Fuck. Randy Couture. I don't know.
Number 6, who are the only 2 fighters to wear UFC gold in 2 different weight classes?
The 2 fighters?
Yeah.
You got BJ Penn and... Oh, Randy Couture. Oh, what an idiot I am. Yeah, Randy Couture and BJ Penn.
Number 7, name the 3 main fights on the UFC 100 card that generated well over 1 million pay-per-view buys.
The 3 main fights was Lesnar Mir, Bisping Hendo, and I don't know if this... Oh, you can't help me out, can you? Because oh, man. I'm going to say Mir, Lesnar, Michael Bisping, and Hendo, and... Oh, well, oh, yeah. Oh, what am I... I'm an idiot. George St. Pierre and Tego Alves.
Okay, number 8. Referring to MMA as human cockfighting in 1998, what politician is credited with almost single-handedly getting the UFC banned during that time period?
Oh, God. I don't know. Governor Cuomo. I have no idea.
Okay, number 9. What year was the Ultimate Fighting Championship founded?
2005.
What year was it created, the UFC?
What year was the UFC created?
Yeah.
I
I'm going to re-ask that question. No, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, I said.
Oh, 93. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Number 10. Okay, so between the 5 weight classes, between lightweight and heavyweight, How many current belt holders does Strikeforce have?
They currently have 2 title holders, lightweight division, middleweight division.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the clock. You didn't pass on any. All right, so I am
I was
Dolan.
trying to make a time just in case Dolo fucking blazed it. I don't think I did good on time, though.
I will not give any hints until Mr. Dolan comes back.
All right.
He should be back any second.
Oh, boy. I'm fucking shitting myself here, Franco.
Oh! Yeah.
Hello? Shit break, too.
All right, so one of you gentlemen, let me just count real quick here. One of you gentlemen had 7 correct, and one of you gentlemen had 8 correct.
Oh,
wow.
Fuck.
And the person that had 8 correct also did it in a shorter period of time, which is sort of, it's a moot point at this particular stage, but the first ever champion of MMA trivia is Mr. Dolan. He got 8 correct, and Mr. Dubs only got 7.
Wow.
Wow.
Fucking bullshit.
He done did it to you.
Yeah, I felt really good about that round, and I knew that once you said Frank said the person smoked it, it had to be me because I just flew out like the first 6 questions, and I actually fell asleep, shit myself, and went back to sleep by the time I got called back to come on to this one. So I figured it had to be me.
Nah.
Yeah, it was exciting. We'll do another round quickly, but number 1 you both got right. It was Manny Gambirian. Number 2 you both got right. It was Chuck. That was 1 in 5. Number 3, Dubs, you got wrong. He was 24. Dubs, you said he was 22. Dolan got that right. Number 4, Dolan, you got that wrong. Kenny Florian's 0-3 in the title fights. You said 0-4. Dubs got that right.
You know what I was doing, dude? I was thinking, not that I thought that him and Maynard was for the belt, but I just thought he was such a loser that he was a 3-time loser at lightweight.
See, this is the one that fucking had me scratching my head. Dubs, how'd you get this one wrong? This is the Sports Illustrated cover. Dolan got it right. Roger Huerta.
Yeah, dude.
I couldn't remember. It would not come to me at all. So instead of
Randy
passing like
Couture.
a douchebag, I'm a fucking idiot. I just threw it out there because I figured, he's famous. He's an old guy in sport holding it together. I don't know. I just fucked up.
I thought that was a gimme.
Yeah.
Number 6 you both got right. It was PJ Penn and Randy Couture. You both got that right. Number 7 you both got right. It took Dubs a long time to get GSP Alves, but he got it.
You're better than that, dude.
I know. I blanked. Pressure.
Number 8 was about the politician. Human cockfighting. I thought somebody might get this. It was John McCain.
I didn't fucking say that, too. I only thought Gordon because I thought you were actually promoting our show, Nick, and be topical. Sue me. Thinking so highly of you.
No. Number 9, you both got right. It was 93. Dubs initially said 2005, and then I had to repeat the question because he thought I said the Ultimate Fighter, so I gave him a redo on that one.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
93.
Appreciate that, because that would have been embarrassing.
So what was it? It was the year the UFC was created and the UFC 100 main event that held him up as far as time?
He thought, basically the UFC main event was the main thing that held him up. And the Sports Illustrated cover was a good. The Sports Illustrated cover was a good 15 or 20 seconds too.
Yeah, that would fuck me up big time.
Just say Fred Hitman Hart, dude.
Number 10, you both got right. It was actually that was good. The Strikeforce question as to how many champions they have in the 5 weight classes. You both said 2. That was correct.
Did Dolan name which weight classes though?
I did.
He didn't, but that wasn't part of the question.
I know.
He was more
trying to get extra
he was more
credit.
economical.
I did name the people. I said.
You did actually. Yeah, you did.
I said lightweight, and I didn't say Rockhold middleweight, but I said Rockhold and Gil Melendez.
Okay. All right. Well, then never mind. I don't have anything. I didn't like to stand on here.
You were thinking Shogun 22?
I was going to say 24, and then for some reason in my head I started to fucking think, how, John Jones is the youngest UFC champion ever, so I was like, maybe I'm fucking remembering shit wrong, and I should have just went with 24 because that was my first answer.
And I wasn't 100% on that either. I just remember back in the day when he was champion. I didn't know if he won it at 24, but I just remember seeing that he was 24, and it blew my mind to think that he was the same age as me, and he was doing that to people when I was just steadily putting down an eighth a week. That was my claim to fame at that point.
Nice. I don't know. I like your story better. It's more impressive.
Mine was more fun. Wound up in a lot more,
Exactly.
ditching the car at 3 in the morning after, running over trees and stuff.
Oh, God. I'm a fucking failure. I'm last in the fantasy standings, too. What's that?
How's it feel to be a two-time loser?
It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, round 3 is just about the bragging rights. You got to get the goose egg off the board, Dubs, during round 3. You got to pick off at least one round here.
I got it. Is Dolan going first, or how's it going to go? I mean, he did win the competition, so I'll let him decide.
Yeah, it's his choice.
Well, in the interest, again, just mixing it up, moving back and forth, we'll let Dubs go first. Just we'll put him out of his misery, and he can just shit the bed and be done with it.
Fucking ain't right. To the rail with you, sir.
All right, go on hold, Dolan. I am in when we're good.
Oh, God. I feel sick to my stomach now. Jesus Christ.
Don't take it so hard, pal. It's all right.
No, it's not. I choked. We got to do this again. I'm not going to accept the fucking loss. But all right, I'll stop talking. We got to get the round in.
All right, this is round 3. Let me just get my stopwatch open. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
All right, let me know when you're ready to answer, and
I'm ready,
I will
sir.
start throwing questions at your face.
Okay.
Question number 1. What NFL legend was a commentator on the UFC 1 broadcast?
Oh, Tim Brown.
Okay, number 2. What fighter is the brother of a well-known UFC fighter and failed to make weight during his time on The Ultimate Fighter Season 8?
Oh, Season 8? I'm going to say...
Yes.
Season 8 would be Clay Guida's brother. What the fuck is his name? I can't think of his actual name. I'm going to say the older Guida brother, Jason Guida.
Okay, number 3. How many events did Pride Fighting Championships hold in the United States during the promotion's storied run?
I'm going to say 1 just because I can't think of any more, so I'm just going to stick with 1.
Okay, number 4. Including catchweight bouts, how many different weight classes has Vitor Belfort competed in during his UFC career?
I'm going to say 4.
Okay, number 5 is, what was Brock Lesnar's professional MMA record when he faced Randy Couture for the UFC Heavyweight Championship?
He was 3-1.
Okay, number 6, Fedor Emelianenko and Big Nog competed against each other how many times in Pride?
How many times did Fedor and who?
Big Nogueira, how many times did they fight in Pride?
3 times.
Okay, number 7, what legendary trainer was the UFC's first ever welterweight champion?
Pat Miletich.
Okay, number 8, The Ultimate Fighter Season 4 consisted of fighters who had previously been under UFC contract and were fighting for title shots in their respective divisions. What was the nickname for the season?
The comeback?
You cut out, what'd you say?
The comeback?
Okay, number 9, what was the weight limit for Pride's middleweight division?
Middleweight division? That would be... Their middleweight division was like their light heavyweight, so I'm going to say 205. I can't think, dude.
Number 10, Uriah Faber's first WEC loss came at the hands of this man.
His first WEC loss, came at the hands of Mike Brown.
Okay, I stopped the clock because you didn't miss any questions.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, you either answered right or wrong for all your questions, so we don't have to go back to any. You weren't 10 out of 10.
I thought I would 10 out of 10 for a second. I was impressed.
No, there was no questions to go back to. You rat bastard.
Fuck. Yeah, I should learn how to pass probably so I can think about stuff. But I tried that in the first round and it fucked me. So I just figured I might as well just answer everything and see how it all works out. Just throw the bomb out there.
Dolly, back?
I'll click them on now.
What's up,
What's up?
Back? All right, so Dubs wins. This one's kind of, doesn't really count, but, you want to put your foot on his chest and really just stomp him out. Beat him 3-0, so. I'm rooting for you.
What am I? I'm up 3 total, right? I was up 2 in the first round and 1 in the second.
Well, I mean, the way I was scored, it was just by round. So you won round 1, you won round 2. So
yeah, it was 3. It was 3. It was 6-4 in the first, and it was 8-7. That's what the plaque over my bed says in the report card on my
All right. Well, that's nice. Rub it in.
all right, Dubs, go on hold. Let me ask this rat bastard his questions. You there, Dubs?
It's me, dude.
Okay, cool. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll start reading the questions.
I'll be ready when you call me the right name. It's called Delicious, not Dubs.
Oh, shit, my bad. All right, I'm going to start the clock.
Bring that
And, all right. What NFL legend was a commentator on the UFC 1 broadcast?
Jim Brown.
Okay, number 2. What fighter is the brother of a well-known UFC fighter and failed to make weight during his time in The Ultimate Fighter Season 8?
Let's see, Jason Guida.
Number 3. How many events did Prize Fighting Championships hold in the United States during the promotion's storied run?
I know of 1. Fuck it, 2.
Okay, number 4. Including catchweight bouts, how many different weight classes has Vitor Belfort competed in during his UFC career?
Including catchweight bouts. I feel like you're trying to throw me off on that. 3.
Okay, number 5. What was Brock Lesnar's professional MMA record when he faced Randy Couture for the UFC Heavyweight Championship?
He's Herring, and then he lost to Mir. He was 1-0 going in. 2-1.
Okay, number 6. Fedor Emelianenko and Big Nogueira competed against each other how many times in Pride?
3.
Okay, number 7. What legendary trainer was the UFC's first ever welterweight champion?
Pat Milicic.
Okay, number 8. The Ultimate Fighter Season 4 consisted of fighters who had previously been under UFC contracts and were fighting for title shots in their respective divisions. What was the nickname for this season?
The Comeback.
Okay, number 9. What was the weight limit for Pride's middleweight division?
Shit, I was just whooping your ass in that weight division yesterday on UFC 3. 190?
Number 10. Uriah Faber's first WEC loss came at the hands of this man.
I'll answer it, Frank, but I want to change one of my answers, so we'll get to that after.
Okay.
Mike Brown beat Faber, and
okay.
I want to say that Lesnar was 3-1, not 2-1.
Okay, and you done?
I'm done.
Okay. All right. So let me just make corrections here. Okay, let me bring Dubs back, and we'll go over the results. Should be back in a second. Dubber.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, so that one, like I said, Dolan's already the winner. That one was just for the icing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so one of you guys got 7 correct, and one of you got 8 correct.
Fuck
now,
me!
Dolan, you had it 1 until you switched that Brock Lesnar answer. You were right, and you were under his time. He was 2-1, so if you left that answer right, you were both 8 out of 10, and you had it in less time. But I had to go back and I switched that Brock Lesnar answer, so that made you 7 out of 10. So Dubs got it.
Stupid! You're so stupid! That sucks, dude. You know what, dude? I felt like I. But you know, when I was going through, I was like, I figured he had one fight prior to that. I knew he beat Herring and lost to Mir.
You walked through it. Initially, you walked through it perfectly. Like you said exactly what happened, and then you went when you went back. When you were going back to switch it, I thought you were going to go back because we were just talking about Pride's middleweight division. It's 205, remember, because the middleweights are like the light heavyweights?
No, I know. What I was thinking with that is, dude, I was just thinking that I was thinking they had to make him come down somewhat. So dudes who were like naturally 185, you know, could have been in that weight class. But, you know, the Lesnar thing pisses me off, though, because for some reason, the only reason I switched it, I just felt like when he beat Couture, I was like, holy shit, this dude's only 4-1, and he's the heavyweight champ. So basically, I'm an asshole. Stupid! You're so stupid!
Thank you for changing that, Dolo.
the Dubs got the lead down. So overall, I won by 2 questions.
Yeah, well, you won. So it was the first one to win 2 rounds. So number 3, there were 2 Pride events in the U.S. Dolan got it right, Dubs got it wrong. You both got 1, 2, and 4. Oh, Dolan, you had the Vitor Belfort question wrong. It was 4. He fought at middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight, and then he fought a catchweight fight at 195 against Fritz Frank.
I wasn't sure, yeah. I wasn't sure if he fought at heavyweight. I knew that there was a catchweight. I was thinking that he didn't fight at heavyweight.
Yeah. Number 5, Brock Lesnar's career. We already did that. You both got the Fedor and Big Nog question. They fought 3 times. You both got Pat Miletich. You both got the comeback for the season, the middleweight division. You both got Mike Thomas Brown. So very tightly contested. Good job by both. And Dolan is the inaugural champion. We'll have to bring this back at some point. And my turn to get involved. But right now, Dolan's 1-0.
Yeah, congratulations, Dolo. But what was the official times on that last one, Frank? Because I think my problem is I gotta figure this out, speed through it, maybe use the pass button a little bit, and then there's nothing that's gonna stop me.
It was literally you finished in it was 2 minutes and 4 seconds. It was actually a lot quicker than your other 2 rounds. And then Dolan went, and he answered the last question at 2:02. So he literally was going to beat you by 2 seconds. You guys were going to be tied, and he was going to have beaten you by 2 seconds. But he's like, and I want to go back. He's like, I want to go back and switch another answer. So we went back and switched to Brock Lesnar. So he switched the correct answer to incorrect and cost himself 10 seconds.
So I couldn't have fucked that one up more.
No, I mean, literally, you were going to win by 2 seconds, and you were going to clean sweep me. It was going to be awesome.
Oh, man, that's a shame.
See, dude, you can't beat me. You got lucky the other 2 rounds. It's obvious. And
I love it. That's what he takes. He takes the 1 round that he won, and it's his domination.
Dude, I spoke to you about like 10 seconds.
This guy could spin Pearl Harbor for the Japs.
What did you think about the questions? Were they too easy, too hard?
I thought they were really good, man. I thought it was a mixture of some that you just kind of could bang out really quickly, and then I thought there were others that, like, I was just like, Jesus, like, where did he even find this? A lot of them, some of them had to be from the nerdery on the different message boards and stuff. Because some of them I was like, wow.
If anything, they were on the easy side. Like, the first round, it was 4 and 6, but then the last 2 rounds, you guys got 7 and 8 correct. So, like, a couple of them I thought were a little easy, but I just try to mix it up to, like general MMA knowledge.
Yeah, I thought they were to be 2-1 every time.
No, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think I just failed myself because I feel I should have had 100% in each round, and I definitely should be a lot faster than that. I think I just had a little bit of nerves because it was sprung on me.
You were definitely pressing a couple times. I could hear it in your voice.
I don't know why the brain locks up. It's fucking weird. Like even though I knew the answers, I was like, wait a second. Oh, the comeback. Wait, the comeback. It took me like 3 times before I finally settled on the comeback. So I got to get quicker.
Good test taker subs,
Like the
I never won.
Rock bet. He said, anything you want done in the bedroom, you need to say that shit with authority.
That's too funny, dude. I feel like the second round, Dubs took like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I was struggling.
Also, you went on hold, and we were like bullshitting for like another 60 seconds, and we thought you were still on the phone. And then I was like, Dolo, and then you weren't there. I was like, oh, fuck it, we might as well start. So there was like a minute to 90 seconds where we were still just kind of bullshitting, and we didn't realize that you had gone off.
Are you going to make him feel better?
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I figured you guys were just taking your sweet-ass time. But what do you guys want to take a break and come back and finish the show up, or do you want to push the break off for a little bit?
I could use a break. I mean, it's up to you.
All right, I say we hit the break button. So everybody, we'll be back in 5, 20 minutes. Who the hell knows? All right.
sound in blogging. Log on to thexlog.com and experience new standards and quality in commentary and analysis. Powered by RotoExperts.com, thexlog.com brings together the top expert bloggers with all the very best the Internet has to offer. You don't have to search for the most compelling and entertaining posts and writers anymore. They will be at your one central hub for high quality. So join us as a new revolution begins in sports and entertainment, only at thexlog.com. That's THEXLOG.com.
Oh, I ain't What's up, everybody? It's Cauliflower for the years. Remember, call numbers 347-326-9741. 347-326-9741. Call in and drop some balls, or, you know, get in on the MMA chat. You boyos there?
Yeah, let's go on dubs for losing, laying an egg.
Come on now. Listen. You know I could have done better, and I should have done better. You know, I basically handed you that victory.
Once I think that you can't get any dumber, you do something and totally redeem yourself, like play the Dusty Rhodes American Dream song.
Yeah, that was great. I thought we were going to rock out that whole jam. Every time I hear that, every time I hear the beginning of that song, all I think about is Sapphire.
Everybody has a fight.
I am the American Dream, baby.
That's what they say about the $1 Million Man's servant, Virgil. They say that was a crack on Dusty Rhodes because Dusty Rhodes' real name is Virgil. So that's what they said. Yeah. And also, another interesting tidbit that I heard about Virgil from X-Pac Sean Waltman on some podcast was that he was very well endowed and he used to be able to give himself a blowjob.
Get the fuck out of here. I heard that was Lanny Poffo who could give himself a beach. And I'm pretty sure he actually, so maybe him and Virgil teamed together.
I heard that too, but that's what X-Pac was like on. He was on Bubba the Love Sponge or something, actually. He was talking about that. So apparently, moral of the story, Virgil's got a huge cock.
Shocker. I would have guessed it anyway just by looking at it.
That's the kind of hard-hitting analysis that you get on Cauliflower for the years, folks.
That's it.
When I looked at Virgil, I was like, he's probably got a sweet dingus.
Yes, this is true.
That just means that God has a sense of humor and that God balances everything out. He may be a servant, but he's got a huge wang.
I thought you guys
that poor bastard Virgil steps up at... What's that, Franco?
No, I was just talking gibberish.
Oh, so was I, really.
The usual.
I was just trying to fucking lay it out how much of a pathetic bastard that Virgil is. Whenever he's at, like, he goes to all those Comic-Cons and shit, and he is just sitting there at an empty booth, and he charges, like, $35 for photographs that nobody wants. It's fucking hysterical. He's always sitting there by himself. I went to one in Philly, and nobody was around his booth at all. Greg the Hammer Valentine was getting more guests than he was.
He should charge $50 so we could all watch him blow himself. I'd be more likely to pay to see that than $35
I would definitely pay for that.
Signature.
He just takes pictures of people with his cock across their forehead and charge $40.
Oh, man, where do I sign up? Line starts behind me to be the guy in the picture.
Doug, I meant to get in your ear about this. What the fuck, Peyton Manning to the Broncos? You fucking ran bad for your jinx the first week.
Well, listen, I knew that. Well, that's just it. Last week, though, of course, you had to stir the pot and say that the Niners were going to get him. I didn't think they really had a serious shot, but in pursuing him, they've, of course, pushed Alex Smith to the side, and now he's seriously negotiating with the Miami Dolphins. Now, I've always been a bit of a Smith hater. He finally had a decent year, so I was willing and wanting to see what he was interested in really seeing what he did this year. And now we might not have any quarterbacks because they're still in pursuit of this old quarterback who's one hit away from getting paralyzed. So the Denver Broncos, I'm glad he went there. But Franco, we're fucked now. We are fucked.
I know. I mean,
nobody's going to throw the ball.
There's still going to be a chance that they're going to be able to sign Smith, but what I was reading say that like he had a really good meeting in Miami, and they might be willing to offer him more money. And you know, I thought it was worth it going for Peyton Manning because I think that we were probably the second choice. I think even over Tennessee was the impression from the things I was reading. But you know, you got to go for that chance. But I was looking today just to see who the free agent quarterbacks were, And, I mean, Alex Smith is the best of the bunch. It's not even close. I mean, after Alex Smith, there's really nothing else. So they need to get this guy signed. Otherwise, their other option is that the rookie, it's going to be a second-year guy this year, Kaepernick, who might have a good future, or they're going to have to try to trade for somebody. But they just signed Mario Manningham. They brought in Randy Moss. They got Crabtree. So now they have 3 legitimate receivers. They need somebody to throw these guys the ball. I mean, give me a fucking break here. So, they took care of the needs that they have, but I really hope that they're able to bring Alex Smith back.
Well, now, if nothing else, dude, you guys are going to have to give Alex Smith probably considerably more money if you have the cap space to get him back. Because now you've pissed him off. Now he's been able to test the waters and see what other people will pay him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously the dude, I'm sure, feels like he was shit all over, and he wanted a long contract and for better money, and now he's got leverage to get it because, they basically pushed him to the side when he said no to the 3-year deal, and I know the Dolphins are seriously going after him because their only other option is Matt Moore, who didn't do bad at the end of the season, but, I mean, Matt Moore was sitting over in Carolina forever, so nobody really wanted him to be the starter there, so there's got to be something that says that Matt Moore can't do it full time.
Yeah, and what's his name? Matt Flynn, the backup for Green Bay, who came in and threw for 800 yards that one game he played. Over with fucking Pete Carroll, that little snimy bastard in Seattle.
I love that he signed him, though, because that fucker's going to fail hardcore, He had,
I hope so, because
good games.
I fucking hate Pete Carroll, man. Like, I hate that guy with a passion.
Me too, except I respect what he did at USC when he was banging those college broads in this house that he bought near the beach. So good for him. He was cheating on his wife, getting all the college girls. Then when the heat was coming down, he fucking hightailed it out of there and got a sweet NFL gig. So you know what? I turned the corner a little bit on Pete Carroll because that was a great move on his part.
He's like the 50-year-old guy when they were blowing out the 49ers, I think it was last year, like he's on the sidelines like doing fucking cartwheels. Like, it's like week 2, they're up like 50 to fucking 7 on the 49ers. He's over there fucking chest bumping and, it's just, there's one thing about like being pumped up and there's a whole other, thing about like being a fucking cheerleader, and I just don't like the way he acts on the sidelines. Ever since that game, I literally hate him with every fiber of my being.
Hey, Frank, is that a little self-serving on your end because your coach, being all fired up, refused to shake hands with the Detroit Lions coach and then chest bump them like an asshole?
Well, no, he was like, that was a completely different situation. What Pete Carroll was doing was like being a little bitch about it. Like, nah, we're beating you. Like, Jim Harbaugh just like bellied up to him like man-sized his ass. Like, we just beat your fucking ass. You guys aren't undefeated anymore. Get out of my way. It's a different.
Pete Carroll is just, you look at him and you can just tell that he's just this cocky little bitch.
Yeah, he's probably got a 2-inch cock. He got a 2-inch cock and a big bank account, so he thinks he's the man.
Well, that's why you need Pete Carroll, my man.
What'd you say? What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying. Jesus.
Well, 50-50. You're batting 500.
Hey, Doug, that's spoken like a true guy who can't blow himself.
Listen, it's not for lack of trying. It's impossible. It never even gets close.
You got to put the odds in your favor. Get that rib removed.
Yeah, like Marilyn Manson.
You're going to need 8 ribs removed to get down there.
You're going to need more than that, dude. You're going to need to join the circus and find out how to put your head up your ass.
I need liposuction. I need liposuction to eliminate these rolls as I bend over for it. I need liposuction and a breast reduction. I might be able to do it.
The trick for me is being able to find it first. That's my biggest challenge. I got to roll in flour and then just find the wet spot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I shaved my balls for the first time a couple weeks ago. Like straight edge shaved them. Did I already bring this up on the show? For some reason, I remember bringing this up.
No, I don't think so. You didn't. It blacked out. You tell.
You stood your chest.
Yeah, that was something different. But I also shaved my balls before that. And I tell you what, it was the best move I ever made. But the worst thing is that if you don't stay on top of it, they start getting itchy. And it's very uncomfortable.
Frank. That isn't hair, dude. That's crabs. You're going to need a doctor for that one. Dude, you went straight razor?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Getting
literally. from my asshole all the way to like underneath my belly was just straight like like you could play the drums on the fucking thing.
You weren't worried about cutting yourself, dude?
I was, but then I just I just lathered the old nutsack up in first of all I took the electric trimmer to like my balls and my grundle and that whole area first. Then I went in the shower and I lathered it up with shaving cream, and then I just spread my nutsack out and to get like a straight side, like an edge, and like put my balls to one side or the other, and it actually worked out. It worked out great.
Yeah, see, I couldn't do that, man.
I'm filling up over here.
Because us Dolans, man, our cock-to-ball ratio is just astronomical.
Gay
but
twink,
bad way.
blowjob.
Sex, bastards, bastards.
Frat boy, sucks cock.
Horny stud.
First, hard fucking
Muscular.
All right.
You're a brave man, Frank. You're a brave man.
Dude, I had with the Clippers, but I can't fucking put a straight razor down there. I'm afraid that I'll just slice it open when that little ball will just roll right out.
I had
just
to.
be hanging there.
I mean, I always like upkeep the rest of the area, but like I literally had hairs on my balls that were like 3.5 inches long, and like if you caught it in the right light while I was taking a piss, it was just like I got to do something about this ball hair. It's just not working.
Oh, dude, well, you know what, Dan, that's a dangerous game to play because you made a deal with the devil. You've never looked so big, but once you let that come in, not only will it be itchy, you're going to start getting like the little bumps, like the razor burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so much more aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it's just
it's so wonderful. I agree. Frank was closing deals at work 8 days a week now.
It's just such an upgrade. I'll deal with the side effects.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what? The good thing is, though, Dubs, it takes the attention away from Nick's tramp stamp over the small back that has entrance/exit, and then it has an arrow pointing down to his a-hole.
Yeah,
my God.
I got a tattoo on my ass. It's the Roadrunner chasing Wile E. Coyote into a cave, and when I get on all fours and bend over, my ass holds the cave.
Dude, that's hysterical. If you want to hear an amazing story that happened, a buddy of mine at work told me that one of his maniac friends, and I could so see, Nick, one of your maniac friends doing this, he said they went to, like, I don't know, like a golf tournament, like a pro tournament up in upstate New York, got hammered, had a great time, and then they somehow convinced him to go get a tattoo when he was done, and he got a tattoo over his asshole with a flag, and it says the 19th hole.
Oh, holy
That's
shit.
perfect. And when he's married with a kid, but when he first started dating his girl, after they'd have sex, he'd have to back out of the room because he was embarrassed to show her. So like, he'd be done, and he just like tucks back, and he would just back out of the room. And then finally, when he had his heels in her, like he just showed her, and she was mortified.
Holy shit. That's like our other buddy that got, we'll mention his name, that got the girl. He basically had like a couple one-night stands with this girl. He had like a crush on her, and somebody told him they'd give him $50 if he had this girl's name tattooed on his ass. So he obviously took the deal, got the tattoo, and his whole argument every time he brought it up was, "And he paid for the tattoo." I was like, "Yeah, because it was a tattoo with this girl's name on your ass. What do you think he was going to make you pay for it?" He's like, "Yeah, dude." His whole thing was like, "Yeah, it was $50." Plus he paid for the tattoo, which was like $75. So it's like, oh, it was really like $125. Like, no, if you didn't get the tattoo, it wouldn't have cost $75.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's hysterical. That's a small price to pay for scarring your body for the rest of your life. He's only net positive $25 in that deal to have somebody's name on his ass the rest of his life, and now he's got to marry a girl with that name.
No. He didn't. No, the guy that gave him the $50 paid for the tattoo.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just saying, consensual. Yeah. At best, he was only.
But like, they would always be like, well, he paid for the tattoo as well. I'm like, yeah, he's not going to make you pay for it. That's, take all the fun out of it.
Oh, that's hysterical. I wonder how many guys are standing there watching this idiot get his name tattooed on his ass.
You know who I'm talking about, right, Dole?
Of course I do, man. One, I know the guy very well, and two, I can know your impression spot on. Your impersonation. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Holy shit.
Sort of chromosome, that one. That is huge funny, man.
Speaking of cherry red nutsack stubs, what's going on with your boy Machida? Why does he still not have a fight?
I don't know. I really don't. I haven't actually been keeping up. I know Dan Henderson didn't want to fight him. They were trying to throw him at Hendo, and Hendo says never sent over any sort of bout agreements or anything. But I really don't know what's going on with Machida. Have you heard anything? Are you, Dolan?
I just think he's drinking gallons of his own urine during that time.
Well, sure. He's got to purify his system. He's got to purify his system there, you know? That's got to keep him healthy and strong for when he does actually sign on the dotted line. Now, I don't know, dude. I don't know who they would actually put him up against. Obviously, he's still kind of at the top of the division, you know? He would have to fight a decent name. Maybe Thiago Silva, you know?
Well,
Silva needs a...
Gustafsson, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Gustafsson was supposed to fight Nogueira, right? And
now
then,
he's fighting Silva.
Okay, or he was supposed to fight Silva, now he's fighting Nogueira. Which way is it?
No, the other way around. Him and Nogueira were, Gustafsson and Nogueira were supposed to be the main event in Dutch Wonderland over there. And now, I don't know what happened to Nogueira. And now, now Thiago Silva's going to go and take that fight. I don't know if Vera was hurt or it just worked out or what, but because Vera and Thiago Silva...
I know Vera got hurt because they were supposed to rematch. So
yeah, Vera did get hurt.
Silva moved up to take Gustafsson.
So if Gustafsson beats Thiago Silva, then maybe you have Gustafsson fight Machida, and if Gustafsson beats Machida, I mean, he's ready for a fucking title fight.
Well, yeah, Nick, that's
I agree.
A great point, because John Jones has not backed down on his, his wants to go fight at heavyweight in 2012, and he went to Dana White, again, kind of saying, listen, I really want to go fight, maybe after the Rashad fight, and Dana, again, told him to slow down and, wants to, maximize how much money he can make off of him, obviously. So Dana actually referenced that, and Gustafsson was in the mix. He said, first of all, in 2012, if you get through Rashad, Henderson, and Gustafsson, if Gustafsson wins one fight, if not two fights to get there, if you beat all three, he said, then you will run through the gamut in my mind, and then you can go to heavyweight. And Dana's just hoping to buy time and hope somebody else at 205 will come up and basically, basically get in there with him. But we could still get the super fight, too, because Anderson Silva came out this week and said he legitimately feels he has one career left in him, and he thinks it's 10 years. He legitimately said he thinks and plans on fighting until he's 46.
Yeah, I know he said that, but I don't know if I buy that at all, dude.
I don't either.
I mean, his body, he seems to...
Yeah, it just goes against the grain of what we heard. We always heard that, Silva after the Sonnen fight might be done. So I was just so surprised to hear that he was thinking even like the next 3 years, 5 years. I thought he'd be done in a year or so.
Well, I think what it is like, he definitely feels like he could still compete, but his body's definitely racking up injuries at his age and everything. I think what he's trying to do is maybe leverage the UFC into, like, signing him for the rest of his career at a big number. If he can go, I think he does want to compete past this Sonnen fight, which, it's not set in stone that Silva will defend against Sonnen. Sonnen definitely took it to him, but if he beats Chael, what else does he do? I guess, he's already pretty much cleaned that whole division out.
If 205 doesn't work out for Hendo. The other thing is Hendo could take Anderson Silva at 185. That's been tossed around, but that's another guy who's 43 years old would have to cut weight to 185.
Yeah, I think when the smoke clears from Rashad Jones, obviously Hendo's going to sign right on the dotted line no matter who wins that fight, because he also said if Sonnen wins the title against Silva, he doesn't want to fight Sonnen. So, and plus at his age, does he really want to be cutting weight? I think he fits right in at 205. He's most effective there, and for such, he's an older guy. He really shouldn't be trying to cut the weight anymore. I think it would really take his effectiveness away.
Oh, somebody doesn't subscribe to that. That's Rich Franklin. Because Rich Franklin signed a fight at 185 today. Rich Franklin, who's, if he's not 38, 39, he may be 40 years old. If not, he's sniffing it. He signed to fight Kung Lee on the July 7th card, where the rumored main event is Dominic Cruz and Uriah Faber, the coaches of this season, The Ultimate Fighter. But, Rich Franklin, who hasn't fought in over a year, his last fight was a loss to Forrest Griffin. And then he was supposed to fight Nogueira, and again, Little Nog got hurt, which seems to be the MO. So Franklin is going to fight Kung Lee at 185. Any thoughts on that, boys? I mean, do you think Franklin's smart to cut 185? Do you think UFC is trying to get rid of Kung Lee or feed someone to Kung Lee who might have a hard time cutting weight?
Well, my first thought is pure joy thinking about you two jabronis picking Kung Lee to beat Vanderlei Silva when I told you it was possibly the worst pick of season 3. But I think it's a smart fight because they're both names, and neither guy's really making a title run. Franklin sort of bounced around between 185, 195, and 205. I think if Kung Lee were able to shock, people and wind up, finishing Franklin, he probably gets another fight or two in the UFC. But I think realistically, it's a fight, that Franklin will probably win. It'll probably be Kung Lee's last fight in the UFC. Franklin might get another novelty fight or two. Both guys will probably make some money, but it's sort of just an entertainment fight. It really doesn't mean anything as far as the rankings, but I think Franklin's going to be 25, 30 pounds heavier by the time they fight. I just see Franklin dominate them.
Hey, Dubs.
I definitely would.
What do you think if Kung Lee wins, and then we get the Nostradamus Gus Johnson finally getting that Kung Lee Anderson Silva fight we've all been trying for the last 10 years?
Well, I know I'd sign up for that. If Kung Lee pulls it off, yeah, shoot him right up to the top, because if Silva beats Sonnen, who else is there to fight for that title? But I don't know, dude. I can't. I definitely got to pick Franklin in this fight. Like Franco said, he's going to be cutting so much weight. He's going to be a lot heavier. And Franklin was quoted, I think, after the Griffin fight as just saying, he just wants interesting fights. He's definitely in that stage of his career where he's only going to fight big-name dudes. He knows he's not getting a title shot, so it's got to be guys like Kung Lee who carry a name, whether it's, he definitely deserves it, Kung Lee, because of what he was when he was a kickboxer, but, he was fighting in a pretty weak division in Strikeforce, so, his record in MMA is a little misleading, but I think Franco would definitely win that fight, and then Kung Lee gets fired, so we all win.
Yeah, Kung Lee will make $7 million to lose to Franklin with that UFC contract he's on.
And also, my homeboy, the Barbarian, Tim Boach, the rumors are swirling today. He's probably getting Michael Bisping at 148. He's been calling him out for the last couple of weeks, saying he wants some of that ass, and apparently he's going to get him some.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's official now. I think they
Is it official, Dubs? I thought it was official, too. It was all over the website today that maybe...
I think it got finalized around mid-afternoon or some shit like that. So you're going to get your wish. You're going to get Bisping and Boach. The Barbarians, I got the Barbarian in this one. What do you think, Franco?
Well, as you both know, and as I won't let you forget, I did pick him against Yushin Okami. But I don't think... I think this is actually a bad matchup for Tim Boach. I think that Bisping is just much, much faster than him. And, I think it's probably a fairly easy decision win for Bisping. Sort of a weird fight for Bisping to take after the Chael Sonnen fight. I don't think there's enough juice behind Boach yet. If Boach were to get another win, then I think the fight makes sense for Bisping. But, Boach was probably losing that fight, and he wound up just catching Okami in the third round. But
probably.
Yeah, but
he was definitely losing that fight.
Yeah, he was losing the fight, but even afterwards, Joe Rogan made it he was getting the shit kicked out of him. He was losing the fight, sure. But what I'm saying is, so regardless, he gets almost a lucky win against Okami. So for Bisping to take the fight, if Bisping wins, everybody sort of expects him to win. I would think that Bisping would hold off for a bigger name fight or a more of a an upside if he were to beat him. If he beats Tim Boach, he's sort of in the same spot he's in right now. So sort of a head scratcher as to why Bisping took the fight.
He was probably winning that fight. What a joke. Franks, even Boach's corner against Okami was telling him he's got to knock him out. Just like if I'm going to bet on a game, the Globetrotters are probably a better bet than the Washington Generals. I probably want to go with the Globetrotters on that one. Please.
I take the Generals every time. The line's favorable.
Hey, man, they're due for a win. They're 0-290. They were due. But no,
I think that's all that matters.
It's a genius move by Boach, because Boach can go in there and raise his stock even more, if he beats somebody like Bisping. And I agree with Nick's sentiment, as much as it kills me that, Bisping's going to be the faster fighter. I think Bisping does have a pretty decent chin. I mean, he got caught by a bomb by Henderson, but outside of that, Bisping's really stood in there with some tough guys. And I think if Bisping wins, it's like, wow, who really cares? You should have beat a guy who's kind of new to 185. And if Bosch wins, he goes right up to the top of the ladder. I don't know where Mark Munoz is in his rehab, but if I were Bisping, I would have held out for a Munoz and then, try to get a title eliminator for the winner of the Anderson Silva-Chael Sonnen fight. But Bosch, it's win-win. If he loses, so be it. He can still go test out 185. If he wins, all of a sudden, dude, he's in a conversation that he's a fight away from getting the title shot because nobody wants to see Okami, who he just beat, get up there. Who else is there at 185?
Chris Weidman, who beat Damian Maia.
No, I mean, that's true. I mean, he's certainly in the conversation, but if Bosch beats Bisping, he's in the conversation, if not, ahead of Weidman.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of. I don't think a lot of guys are lining up to fight either Munoz or Weidman. They're both just two tough fights. I wouldn't mind seeing those two fight each other when Munoz comes back, and I think the winner of that, obviously Munoz might be a win away from a title no matter who he fights, and I think Weidman probably 2 wins away depending on who he fights. He pushed Damian Maia down to 170 pounds, but Weidman's still relatively green and, was not in great shape in that Damian Maia fight as far as cardio and whatnot. He still got the job done. I don't think too many people are lining up to fight him.
Nah, he's a tough kid, dude. And anybody who, when he's got a full training camp behind him, it's going to be a tough beat. But, I that would be an interesting fight if Munoz comes back, a Weidman fight. Then, they're both got wrestling backgrounds and, obviously, if Weidman pulls that off, he's definitely up there in the conversation. But Boach, he talked his way into the Bisping thing because, everybody's clamoring, saying he's rising up the ranks. And if he beats Bisping, then, who's left? Unless Munoz is recovered and everything and can stand on his way to go get a title. But, really, the division is pretty thin now at this point. It's been kind of cleaned out. So, it's easy to kind of leapfrog dudes. So that's why Boach is where he's at and why we're talking about Weidman, like you said, Franco. He's a little green. He might not have really earned where he is in the division, but the fact of the matter is there's nobody really there anymore.
I just want to know, is there anyone good enough at 185 to take the belt from Anthony Rumble Johnson? I can't remember. And I mean, not that I think he's there because he lost his last fight, but I mean, I want to see Stan get back in the mix. Not that I think he's well-rounded enough to go beat Anderson Silva, but he's a guy that, certainly could get in there and maybe win some fights and then be back in kind of like the top, 5 conversation because it is a byproduct of the weight division being so thin at 185. And, if Levin kicks the junk for the 37th time, and got his blessing of failing his piss test, who knows, man? It's a wide-open division, and it's just basically dudes walking up to get chopped in half by Anderson Silva.
Well, that's definitely true, but
I love it.
Well,
I love it. Shut both of you
you
up.
silenced us. You fucking threw it at us, and we couldn't pick it up and run with it. I apologize.
Falls over the crowd.
We could stay in the middleweight division too, boys, because we were gambling before with me whooping Dubs, and we were talking to John Jones and Rashad Evans line. Vitor Belfort against Vanderlei Silva has Vitor's opened at a -300, a 3-1 favorite over Vanderlei. Axe Murderer is +220. Obviously, these two have a lot of bad blood. They're the coaches on the inaugural season of the Ultimate Fighter Brazil. They fought in the early days of the UFC with both guys being young because Vitor, I think, is in the UFC at 9 years old. But Vitor basically walked across the octagon and literally just knocked Vanderlei Silva the fuck out. Just walked over, punched him, had him against the cage, and just completely destroyed him. Would you guys put any validity? Do you think Vitor now, and with Vanderlei where he is now, is Vitor just going to really manhandle and walk through Vanderlei?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think those are
20-1 favorite.
Yeah, I think, like we said before, that those odds may be a little high. I think these odds are a little low, and I'm still the guy who still roots for that old Vanderlei to fight. And even against Kung Lee, he just fought a little bit of a smarter fight, and he fought actually an older fighter, which there aren't too many guys that are older than Vanderlei at this point. So it was just a good matchup for him. But I mean, Vitor is still not quite at the top of his game, but he's close. He still looks really good at certain points. Even in that Anderson Silva fight, like, he looked like he was holding his own, and like speed-wise, he was right there with him. He wound up just getting caught. So there's still points where Vitor Belfort is still an elite level fighter, and I just think Vanderlei is about 5 years past that. and I think it's going to be a short, devastating night for Vanderlei.
Yeah, it's how quick did Lieben knock out Vanderlei? 13 seconds.
I didn't see that fight. I remember it was probably one of the only 2 or 3 cards last year that I mixed. But didn't Vanderlei pop? Didn't Vanderlei stun Lieben first though?
Yeah, he made the mistake of punching Lieben. He got off like 4 shots on Lieben's chin, and then Lieben just fucking grabbed him and uppercutted him like 4 times and knocked him out. It was amazing. Yeah. It was the greatest thing because you were right. I remember when you were picking that fight, how you were mocking me and Dolan out for taking Lieben and saying that the old Vanderlei is going to come out and trounce Chris Lieben. So I'm glad you finally came to your senses and you realized Vitor is just going to put a hurting on Vanderlei. And this time, I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume that Vanderlei Silva will be retired and hopefully hang it up before he gets seriously injured.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Yeah, I mean, you would think, and whenever the fight comes up, I'm sure. It's not like I dislike Belfort. I like Belfort. I just like Silva a little bit better. Like, I'm still going to be rooting for Vanderlei to go out there and do his thing, but like I said, I just think the difference, for whatever reason, throughout the years, Belfort's body is just held up a lot better, and his reflexes, his chin, whatever. He still looks like he belongs in there. Vanderlei more and more just doesn't. He doesn't look, he looks like a shell of his former self, from his physique to just his face. Even I know people say a lot of guys
surgery.
Yeah. But taking away the whole steroid thing, where a lot of people think that the guys were using steroids in Japan, and Belfort used to be a heavyweight as well, but his body just looks better. Vanderlei just looks kind of like, I don't know, he just doesn't look great.
Yeah, no, he certainly does. And he climbed the ranks over and made his name over in Pride, and certainly we're all indebted for just the sheer footage that guy supplied us with. But the thing with Vanderlei, like you said, Nick, he fought a smart fight against Kung Lee. It's just his nature to just go for broke, even if he has a good game plan. Kung Lee threw a lot of spinning back kicks and wheel kicks, but he didn't stand there and throw down like Liddell did and Lieben, where it's just going to be in the pocket. And Vanderlei could have a great game plan. To look at the guy, how is he not splitting the atom on a daily basis? But he does have a good game plan sometimes, and then he gets popped, and then he just straight up stands there, and it's just like he's screaming like shooting an AK gun. He's just like throwing both hands like a effing maniac. And it's great for us, but I mean, you can't throw that style and become punchy.
Well, on the playground, retard window style fucking works 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you just start winding up like the tards and stuff, and you start going crazy, that'll usually work in the playground. But when you're fighting professional fighters, you can't pull that style. But
and he fought. I'm sorry. In all honesty, I mean, he fought a lot of cans during his heyday in Pride too. I mean, he had some bigger fights against some bigger guys, but he fought and beat a lot of cans and a lot of just like, insert generic Japanese name here and put him in front of Vanderlei and let Vanderlei just swarm him. And, there were a lot of fights where literally, like they would fucking go out to, the ref would ring the bell, he would swarm the guy and just overwhelm him with punches, kicks, knees, foot stomps, head stomps, whereas, the game's just a lot different now. It involves a lot more technique. And, once guys have your style figured out, you got to sort of, move with the game a little bit, which he did against Kung Lee. I just don't think, I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Belfort.
And there it is, folks. Nick Frank doesn't disappoint. 1 hour and 51 minutes into the show, mark it in your calendars, he makes it about race. Some Japanese cans. Why can't they just be cans, Nick? Why can't we just all be cans in one big case of soda, my man? Why do we got to be talking about splits or ovals, bro?
I could give you a list of 10 Japanese fighters that he beat. I could, let you look at pictures of all of them with all their names for 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, I could show you those same pictures. I guarantee you can match the names to the faces.
You know why I will be able to do it, Nick? Because I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go into my kitchen, and I'm just going to drop a bunch of pots and pans. And you're going to think I answered, and I probably get 7 out of 10 right just by the noise it makes.
Oh, shit.
Gee.
But Nick, you're
that's
a big
not exactly. That's a little harsh. That's a little harsh.
Another one. Gray Maynard and Clay Guida on FX later on in the summer. I think that's sort of a fight that makes sense. I think the winner of that fight stays towards the top. The loser of the fight has to sort of figure something out, because for either one of them, that would be 2 straight losses. But, I think that was sort of smart matchmaking. What do you guys think about that fight?
I think that's a great matchmaking. I'm just hoping Guida can pull it out, because Maynard had his 2 shots, and, he's another guy, like how we were complaining earlier in the show, Franco, about Dominic Cruz not exactly being, an excitable guy. He's another guy who just, he's just all monotone and everything. Occasionally he comes out with a funny line just because you don't expect it from him. But, I'm pulling for Guida here, but I don't know. He's at a big-time size disadvantage, but I like the matchup.
Yeah, and the thing with Maynard is, like, I know what you mean, Dubs. Like, he's not the most excitable guy and stuff like that. I like him a little more than Cruz personality-wise, though, because even though he's not
Really?
this, guy who's going to be going nuts and say this crazy stuff, like, he just constantly seems, like, pissed off. And, like, I thought in the lead-up to the 3rd fight with Frankie, when they had that, the prime time and stuff, like, some of the stuff he says, like, he just seems so, like, pissed off and just wants to beat the shit out of people. I actually enjoy it. Like, he's got a little bit of sarcasm and attitude to him that I like. As far as the fight goes, it is good matchmaking, and it's going to be, who imposes their will. If Gray can catch Guida, he's a huge 155er, where Guida is a little smaller and is, just a great cardio machine. If Gray doesn't, conserve his energy and be smart with his shots, Guida's just going to run circles around him as far as being able to basically outlast him on the cardio. But Gray is so much bigger and physically imposing. They're both good wrestlers, but Gray probably has the better wrestling pedigree. So if Gray gets his hands on him and either lays on him or puts him on the button, although I don't think Guida has a button, I think he can stagger him maybe with some shots. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. I'm just not a huge Guida guy.
Neither am I.
Not that I think, I want Gray to win this fight and then go get a shot. I think there's other guys in front of him at 155. But I just enjoy seeing Gray fight more than I enjoy seeing Guida fight. But it makes all the sense in the world to match these guys up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Guida's tough. I don't think he's I'm not sure, but I don't think he's ever been knocked out. He definitely takes some real hard shots in a lot of his fights. But,
if that's the
he's a tough dude to keep down, What
was
that
right? I said if that Diego Sanchez kick didn't put Guida out, I don't know if anything can. But you're right, because most wrestlers have a hard time on their back. Guida's a guy who's very crafty, and I don't know if it's just pure energy or what, but he's not a guy that you're going to lay on. So I completely agree with you. I'm torn on how the fight's going to go.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call. I mean, I guess I would have to give it to Gray just because of the wrestling pedigree and the size difference. He should be stronger. He should be able to control him, but we saw how good that worked out for Brock Lesnar against Cain Velasquez. He had the better wrestling pedigree and was definitely the much stronger, bigger dude, and Cain Velasquez was able to work to his feet every single time. So not necessarily is the bigger dude gonna dictate the pace of the fight, even if he's supposed to have the advantage somewhere. So, it's interesting, but I definitely want Guida to win that fight. What about you, Franks? Who are you looking forward to winning that fight?
I hate Guida. I think he's obnoxious with his, not just his antics.
Well, his hair.
And,
he's got great hair. He's got great, like, Troy Polamalu hair almost, like, It's pretty sweet. There are certain times where he fights aggressively, but for the most part, he's sort of become a lay and pray type of fighter, and I just don't like that. And I agree with Dolan. I like Gray. I like his attitude. I think that the difference between, to me, Dominic Cruz is just like kind of stupid and dull, whereas Gray Maynard is like annoyed to be having to talk to you, where it just seems more genuine to me. And even like Dolan said during the whole Frankie Edgar build-up when they had. He was just watching the first fight in his kitchen, and Frankie was out with all his friends. I think, he sort of fights with a chip on his shoulder, and he sort of has that attitude. And, I don't know, you just find him easier to relate to. As far as personalities, I like Maynard better. I like his fighting style a little bit better. He's more prone to finish. He's more prone to at least look for the finish with his hands. And, it depends what happens here with Frankie. If he gets the title back ever, if Gray is able to stay relevant and get a couple of top 5 wins, top 10 wins,
doesn't necessarily mean he's never going to get another title shot. As long as Frankie's out of the picture, Frank can stay in the title mix. And I don't want to see Clay Guida in a title fight. I don't want to see him as the champion. You give him a guy like that fight against Diego Sanchez was one of the most exciting fights ever. But one of the main reasons for that was Diego Sanchez. So Guida can put on a good fight, but he seems to just be looking to keep people off balance with his striking and sort of lay and prey on the ground. So I'll definitely be root for Maynard during that one.
Well, I'm just saying, if Frankie takes the title back, it's not going to make for an interesting title fight if Maynard works his way back up there and Frankie holds his belt. But we got about a minute left, boyos. You got anything to say, or should I wrap this bad boy up?
Might as well wrap it up. The Taker's making his entrance right now. I'm gonna watch this the 11 o'clock overrun. The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H.
Oh shit! I gotta get that on. All right, everybody, remember to check out RotoExperts. Check out thexlog.com. Check out Nick Frank at nfrankrotox at Twitter. Check myself out at Cauliflower, the number 4 ear. Check Dolan out on his Facebook page, and remember, check out the Butcher Block on Wednesdays. And I think that's about it. We're Cauliflower for the ears, and we're tapping out.